One by one, we'll try to cover up. So I tried to give this in a three format, or maybe you can consider this. These are the basic pillars or basic factors for what we are doing, or all the documentations are required to do. So one is the company foundation. When we are building a company, so we need to do some kind of a documentation which gives a clarity about our business, which where we are heading, what kind of a precautions we are taking, what kind of a company we are building, for what purpose we are doing. So that is the basic foundation when we are doing it. That that all includes with the law and compliance part also. Second is the company security, because whenever we are working on any idea or anything, we want to secure our company in all the aspects, right from idea or any process or system. So how to protect our company and make it secure. And third is the process and the actions. So one by one we'll go. So let's first take the company foundation. So when we start a company, possibly few people would be doing a partnership firm, or maybe some are working as a LLP or a private limited. So I'm considering that now everyone is trying and aspiring to be a LLP or a private limited company. So like we are already having all this conversation during this last few weeks. So consider you are working as a LLP or minimum private limited. So when you start working, of course, the first term which comes, or maybe the CA will always ask you, okay, we will try to make a memorandum of association. So I have observed and I have seen that a lot of people are making a lot of mistakes during making a memorandum, because you hire a CA and you expect that CA will consider and do all the part from there. Yes, of course, there are a lot of generic things in that whole document, but for what purpose you are building a company, that need to be very clearly conveyed to your CEO. That is important. First, whatever currently business model you have and what all area and category and segments you want to get in, you have to define very well. Plus, better you have to understand that in future what all other verticals or other categories or may other segments you would like to get in. Like in my business, like may I have started my second venture for iPhone refurbishment business, but I was having a plan that may after 2 years or 3 years, may I can get into the education also. There is all possibilities I may get into the e-commerce also. There is possibility I can do some kind of a production as well in my same house. So whatever thoughts you have in your mind, so when you are making your memorandum of article or association, keep all that factor in your mind. So at the first foundation level itself, you are very clear that for what foundation, for what purpose you are building that company. Okay, so that is memorandum of association. Second, it comes with article of association. Now there are a lot of confusion for the people की MOA क्या होता है और article क्या होता है. So MOA is something which is giving a clarity about what you are doing as a business in this company कि क्या क्या company में आप काम करने वाले हो. And the article of association is going to define the terms and rules of that organization. So वो किस तरीके से आप करने वाले हो. That is the difference between memorandum of association and article of association. Possibly there could be a lot of people, could be this term is very new for you, and I have seen a lot of people are not giving any importance to this fact, and later they are getting into trouble, because now after the lot of GST and other taxation things have been came in the picture. Now in case if you are not having anything which you want to do business in specific category, and if it is not in your article, then you are not allowed to do that. So it's always good initially sit down properly and clarify yourself that which all verticals in future you may open up in your business. Then the third is shareholding agreement. Now I always tell everyone that even though if you are a single person, or maybe you are working as a partner, or maybe currently you may not having any partnership, or even if you have a partners but they are not active partners, but when you consider yourself as the owner of the company, you should only consider yourself owner of the company when you are sitting on the board, because your decision making ability or decision making power is only lying when you are on the board level. Rest of the day you are more like an employee to the company. I mean, either you are taking a role of CEO or CEO or whatever. So you have to really define first. Whenever you are building a company, you have to define and build your board first. So make yourself clear that there will be at least a board in the company. No matters either today you have one single person or two-person, or you have to keep that position open for rest of the people. Now, in this case, the shareholding agreement is very important because when you are alone, then you think like, okay, whatever is happening, it is okay with me. But if you have a shareholding agreement, that is going to define everything precise, including the role of the founder and what all the liabilities and responsibility you may have as a shareholding. So that is very important. Even if you are alone, I'll request you. There is very standard formats available with the CA. Make your shareholding agreement. Also, if you really have that aspiration to raise your investment in future, this all things really gives very clear message to the investor that you are really in the game. You understand the game of this whole documentation and the records of that shows the discipline side. That also show that you are really serious about business. So you are trying to keep everything from the day one very intact and very clear. So this is more like your credibility building. So you have to keep that thing very intact. Fourth is key person agreement. So if in case if you have someone in your company, may they are not a part of your group or company, or may they are not a shareholder, but if it is if you are involving someone who is very important for your company, who is contributing and it is going to be make lot of decision maker in your company who is going to take a lot of decisions. So you can call them more like a key management person. So you have to make a proper agreement with all those people. So at early stage, possibly you feel like okay, I'm hiring a person, or maybe I'm just taking a help from someone. Even though if there is no commercial understanding with them, even though if you are not giving any money to them, if you have any kind of a commitment in terms of shares, in terms of ESOP, in terms of money, or any kind of a further role which you want to give it to them, always prefer keep everything in records, keep everything in proper documentation. You will be surprised to know that out of this whole statistics, we observe that minimum at least 17 to 18% of the startups are getting failed in first year of the operation itself, only because of dispute between the partners. Because initially, when nothing has been on the paper, we feel everything great because we have all passion towards the game. So we want to really get into the real, make it real. But slowly, gradually, either things will go better. If the things are going better, still there will be a clash of all that ego because there is no clear hierarchy defined. Second, if things are not going well, of course the stress is going to eat up you. So better if you have very transparent clarity between the partners, between the people you have, it will give you always clarity. So have a proper key agreement, and maybe you can have a standard format for that, proper name and description and details, scope of work, what all commitment you are giving, have a proper agreement signed between each other. This will make your life easy. This will always give you a peace of mind that whatever you are promising, either you are delivering. If it is failed, then you know that for what purpose you are doing it. Okay, there will be no clash. Of course, co-founders agreement. If you really have someone to whom you want to make a co-founder, then at least have a proper founders and even co-founders agreement. Even if you are alone, prefer to have a founder agreement, because tomorrow when you will go to the investment level, the people will always accept, the investor will always look for this, see what kind of a commitment you have for the company. So have that clarity in your mind that I am going to be a founder of the company or a co-founder of the company. I have been taken this role. I am going to deliver this KPIs, this performance index. So you know that as a board, right, because you are answerable to the board. So you know that what all performance index you are kept for yourself, and your board is evaluating you. There is nothing like that. I'm a owner of the company, so I can do anything for in my convenience. So you are showing that dedication. I have been kept target everything the way other employees are having, and I'm also answerable to them. Okay, that makes easy for you. And this shows a lot of discipline from that. Then we are coming to the next topic, that is the company security. So I always suggest everyone that, because everyone want to work on a unique idea, everyone is looking for something which they are creating and putting all their efforts and everything into it. So always, whenever you are dealing with any associations or any collaborations or any alliances, prefer to take a non-disclosure agreement signed. I have seen many people are really hesitant to even ask for this. Yeah. Okay. what is the goal? So Vikas is asking. So I will come on that. So Vikas, please give me some time. So once after the whole session, otherwise I will distract from the whole. So we will come on this topic. Yeah. So non-disclosure agreement is very important part. And if someone, if you are asking for signing an agreement and they are not comfortable with it, means they are not the right person for you, maybe the right, no, not the right client for you, maybe not the right vendor. Because you, as a startup, or maybe you, when you are working in a professional world, you would like to get associated with the right people who really understand the game. So non-disclosure agreement is very simple agreement between the two people or two company or between the company and person, that whatever things we are sharing between each other, it is going to be remain with each other, and we will not use that subject or that all in any other for anyone's interest. So non-disclosure agreement, there is a standard format available. In fact, we are also given all that NDA format for all you people. You can download from our hub as well. So that is one. Second is trademark agreement. So if you are really serious about your company, if you have already decided your company name, your trademark is already got registered, so make that trademark with you. And in case if whenever you are doing any kind of a alliance or collaboration with any other company, so if you are really working with some big companies or someone who is really having a good muscles in the market, always ensure that whenever you have any kind of a agreement between them, even if you have no agreement or there is something only MOU signed between each other, trademark agreement terms should be always mentioned in that agreement, because you are going to use their trademark, you are trying to take the benefit of their credibility. So tomorrow they should not take anything in a different way. So better that trademark agreement and trademark term should be, if you don't have any other, take the standard format and get it signed by both the parties. So it will secure your company trade as well as other company trade as well. Okay. Third is business partners agreement. So whoever you are working and dealing with, either it is a first time partner or even if the deal is one time or two time, or if you are having a client which is only having a one time deal, make a one kind of a agreement or maybe vendor registration form or something where you are ensuring that you are capturing all the information which is required for you to ensure that all compliances is going to be properly structured and well. Second, if you have a vendor registration format or maybe something which you can define it, okay, someone is having a one-time business, you will be having a separate form. If there is a continuous business with someone, then you can have a complete different format for that. But you have to have at least all the documentation agreement signed between both the parties. And a lot of people think like, okay, why it is required then when it is easily possible without even, because we are making a purchase order or all. But when you will put your case, further for the investment, all this documentation is going to make a lot of impact, because then you are going to showcase this as a strength, that how many clientele, how many people you have worked with, what kind of a business agreement you have, in what terms you already had this. This will make your weight very high, because this is going to make something after 2 years, 3 years, possibly you will forget that how many deals I have done in my whole this tenure. But even a small deal which you are doing it, if it is not even matured, not matured, not materialized, but still you can show that as an effort. Okay, I have been attempted for this all deals. This is not done. This is got done. This is achieved. This is not achieved. But that shows the efforts, and that records will help you. Fourth is employment agreement. So always nowadays even the labor law is completely going very strict from the government end as well. So better, of course, all the letters of appointment letter and all that formalities are there, but either you make some small agreement of employment within your company and get this whole agreement signed with the employment as well, because initially maybe you will be hiring a very maybe the low profile people or the mid management level, but if you have a proper agreement with you, that will really help you in the longer term. And this shows that you are really serious about taking, you're serious with the people, you are really taking care of them, you are clarifying your all path very clearly to your employment as well. So have that draft copy ready with you and make an employment agreement as well. Then the board resolutions, like I was sharing, and like Vikas was asking me, what is the board? So every company does have a board. So maybe the directors, you can structure your board in such a way that I am a owner of the company. May today you are the only single person in your board. Possibly you can appoint some more directors. Maybe in the private limited, two directors are minimum required. But in case of one person company, you can create internal board where all the company decisions can be to be taken by the serious people or key people. So it is not necessary that all you are thinking for your company is always good. It is always better. At least you should have three, four people on the board, or maybe it is not required to give a decision making power to them, but at least create a board where you can put yourself answerable. At least being an owner, you should not empower yourself so strong that I will do anything and no one is watching me, or there is no control, or there is no authority above me. So for a company, the board is always the biggest and highest authority, more like a high court in our country. So the board should be formed, defined that this is going to be a last final decision maker for the company, and you are just the employee there answering to your own board. So whatever discussions you are happening in this board meeting, maybe you can define a schedule for that board meeting. Maybe once in a month you are doing, or quarterly you are doing, because in that board meeting you are going to decide how the company is going to further progress, what all major decisions you need to take for your progression, or further any change or modification required in the company. So all that need to be documented. So you know that at the last meeting what all we had discussed. In case during that next, till the time you are going for a next meeting, after the next in the next meeting you will review and assess that what all you had decided, what is the performance now, and what all actions we had taken, either we are really moving on the right direction. So that document is going to be more like a final process for your company. That once the board is deciding, it is going to happen in this way only. If you are deciding that okay, in next 3 months we are looking for a funding, then the board should decide that okay, this is the structure we are okay with. This much money is required for the company. This way we can raise the money. We can go to the bank. We can go for any other options. But without decision of the board, if it is happening, then it is going to be more like a that लाला कंपनी की मैंने आज सोचा सुबह उठा मैं और मुझे लगा कि मेरी कंपनी को फंडिंग चाहिए तो मैं निकल पड़ा. So that should not function. That should not the right way. So you should really come in the boardroom, sit with all people, discuss your factor कि हाँ कि हमें ये हमारी कंपनी के लिए ठीक लगता है. We should do this, and everyone is going to acknowledge it. Okay, this is really going for the company well, and then you are moving on that direction. Okay, so that is a board resolution. So you should have that all board resolution as a records with you, so you can show that whole story, because this is more like a journey which you are showing to them, how the company got incepted, what all challenges you have faced, how you addressed, everything will come through, and you will be able to narrate that thing clearly. So it is a more like records of your company from the day. Then the last is memorandum of understanding. Have a small understanding in case if you are having any small meeting or anything which you are going for the meeting. Every time make a discipline whenever you are meeting any client, anyone who is going to be a part of your company. Then make a small minutes of meeting or maybe memorandum of understanding what all you had discussed between each other, either it is going in the right direction or not. Minutes of meeting will define, and if you are making this practice, it will really show a lot of good professionalism. When you are meeting someone, you are writing down everything, and once the meeting is done, if you are sending him minutes of meeting that we had all discussed this, these are the part, it's my responsibility, these are the things we are expecting from you, it makes a lot of impact because it is going to be documented. So that is important factor and makes a lot of security, because you are ensuring and you are securing that whatever you are discussing, it is all got recorded and documented. Don't keep anything in WhatsApp. So because WhatsApp is not a business profession. That could be only for the communication and for the ease of communication. But end of the day, your all emails and your signed document is going to be called as the final document. This is the basic security which you can do. And the next is coming with the process and actions. So those are already into the process. So this is another approach. So of course, like I mentioned, minutes of meeting. So whatever actions, like in case it is outside meeting or in case in internal meeting, have a proper record of minutes of meeting. Key performance index. So define that whatever exercises like department wise, make a KPI index for your company that for what purpose you are doing. If there is no measuring element in any of your action, means there is no definition. Like I always say कि आप अगर एक ground पे रोज जाते हो, if you are going on the ground and you are just taking a rounds, okay, so you cannot call that as a game, because unless there is no finishing line, you cannot define either you are winning or you are losing. So till the time there is no finishing line, you are making a practice. So you have to define, you have to decide either when you are going to the office, if your sales have no target, means you are doing a trial error for your sales practice. So that should be called as a practice, because there is no question to be asked कि कितना sales हुआ. If you don't know what numbers you can make it and what is the target, so there is no assurance what number can happen. But if you are defining, this is this is my finishing line, this should happen, इतना percentage होना चाहिए या 90% minimum achieve होना चाहिए, that should be defined. So that is your key performance index. So in your all department you should have that KPI ready with you. ये होना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट इज मैनेजमेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम कि आपको एज ए मैनेजमेंट, एज ए बोर्ड और एज ए CEO ऑफ द कंपनी और CFO ऑफ द कंपनी क्या क्या रिपोर्ट्स की जरूरत है, what all reports you required, you should have all that formats ready with you. So in the business, as a owner of the company or as a entrepreneur, the key success or the key success factors are how you deal with your data, how you have your statistics well readable, and how you are really using that all information for your further growth. So because all your data, your analytics and statistics are the key important factor which is helping you to make your further decisions. अगर आपके पास ये तीनों चीज़ें नहीं है, और अगर आपके पास डेटा है, if you are already having all information, data, it is all going in the dust because you are not using the best that information for any of your decisions. So your past should always give you and empower you with all that statistics and information to make your further decisions. So वो नहीं कर रहे हैं तो you are unnecessarily wasting your all records and you are feeling like कि ये तो सब dump करने के लिए मैं कर रहा हूँ. When you start feeling like कि यार ये इतना records करने की ज़रूरत ही क्या है, ज़्यादातर लोगों के एम्प्लॉइज नॉर्मली फील लाइक ओके यार क्या ज़रूरत है इतना मिनट्स बनाने की, क्यों इतना फाइलिंग कर रहे हैं, पूरा ऑफिस भर जाता है. But if you start thinking like okay, this is not record, these are going to be my database, and from this all data I can really fetch great information and I can take the right decision based on that, then your approach and perception will complete. Now the workflow process, we have already given a complete lesson on this. So every department should have a right workflow, right from every department. If you are having a procurement department, how your procurement department will function, how your supply department will function, how your sales department will function, service department will function. So you should have a standard workflow, so everyone will follow that process flow. And then after that, you not need to even worry that either people are really doing job or not. You can simply observe where in the process people are keeping having a problem, or where the gaps you have in the process, fix it, things will run by itself. So workflow is very important in any of the company. And when you really want to scale your company, if you don't have a processes, all the burden will come on your shoulder and you are going to be a more like a pivot there, because every second person will always come to you and expect you to deliver and solve your problems. Many times people are coming कि सर मेरा कोई सुनता नहीं है, एम्प्लॉइज मेरी बात नहीं समझ रहे हैं, और आई डू एवरीथिंग बट स्टिल आई एम नॉट गेटिंग द राइट परफॉर्मेंस. So the problem is you are just helping them so much and you are not creating that complete process intact where without you they can really function and do the job well. So when you create that workflow, then your job is to just monitor that ki, as per the workflow work is happening. The rest everything you can leave on the individuals. So they will perform on their own. You will just observe things are performing as per the work. Approval process flow. So everything need to have. So like all your accountings, all the decisions, you can define that how that decision is going to be flow through that all authority members. So you can define that कौन कौन लोग requisition बनाएंगे, who is going to be a requisition who is going to request, who is going to approve. Even if your company is small, see, the culture you can start from the day one, because you cannot expect that कि बच्चा बड़ा हो जाएगा 10 साल के बाद में मैं उसको values और culture सिखाऊंगा. That is not going to happen. You have to inject and you have to give that culture and values from the childhood itself. So when your company is small, when you are just incepting from the day one, try to give this all practices from the day one, because you have to set that example. People will look up to you if you are putting all these terms and all these processes well. If you are following it, rest other people will follow, and that will convert into culture. And if you think like okay मैं थोड़ा सा बड़ा बन जाऊँ, फंडिंग आ जाएगी, उसके बाद में फिर मैं सब कुछ अच्छा कर लूँगा, I can give you in the writing, nothing will happen. Or even if it is happening, then you have to spend huge money, or you may need to do a lot of changes in company. I have seen that a lot of companies are doing this mistake. They take the company to a stage or level, right? And initially बहुत छोटा सा है, 3 4 5 10 लोग मिलके काम करते हैं. Then for first 1 2 3 years, है ना, maybe बहुत things are going very good. People are coming on their own convenience, चाय पी रहे हैं, पैर उछाल के बैठ रहे हैं. After some period, once the investments come in, once the company start growing further and flourishing, then they realize नहीं अब मुझे professional होना है. And then they start taking the hard calls. Then they're taking a hard decisions कि नहीं इसको निकाल दो, ये ठीक नहीं है कंपनी के लिए, because he is not following the culture of the company. And then the dispute starts and a lot of things get completely ruined. So if you start the culture from the day one, that वो होता है ना कि हम एक friendship रख रहे हैं किसी के साथ में. If you are saying okay this is the I'm drawing this line कि यार मैं इतने ही distance से बात कर सकता हूँ, या मैं आपको आप ही बोलूँगा. So that will remain in your remain in that relationship for a whole long time. Otherwise, if from the day one, if you are getting all along with them कि चल कंधे पे हाथ डाल के घूमते हैं, may initially you may feel great, but after some time then you should not feel like कि यार ये तो कुछ ज़्यादा ही friendly हो रहा है. So you have to define that what culture you want to get. So approval process is very important. Then you are defining it well. Okay. Now the circular of modification. So every time, whatever modifications you are doing in your any process, you should have that documentation properly recorded, because it is not your company alone. You are just a part of the company. You have to always consider you are just a part of your company. The whole company is not belongs to you. You are just a maybe CEO of the company or one director of the company. Today maybe you are having 100% shareholding of the company, but tomorrow gradually when you want to grow, the company will be completely going to with different hands. So you are answerable to them as well, because you are going to promise a lot of things to new people, and you are sharing and telling them कि I have done great job in this company. So you have to show that character कि मैं पहले दिन से जो काम कर रहा हूँ वो perfect है. I have all the records with me. Whatever I done, even it is a mistake, I recorded it. What things gone wrong, I'm okay with that. But this is all recorded, so they can refer everything and say कि हाँ ये सही काम हो रहा है. So that credibility makes a lot of difference when you are dealing with the people. Even if you are going wrong, still people will always believe you कि चलो ठीक है गलतियाँ तो होती है, because there is no business, there is no relationship where everything can go perfect all the time. Up and down हो गई, challenges आएंगे ही, problems आएंगे ही, but उसमें होता है ना जैसे दो दो लोगों के रिलेशनशिप में हाउ यू आर रियली गिविंग रिस्पेक्ट टू ईच अदर एंड हाउ ट्रांसपेरेंट यू आर इन द रिलेशनशिप, दैट मेक्स एवरीथिंग कंप्लीट डिफरेंस. ओके. So basically these are the important factors which I try to showcase you कि okay at least जब आप start कर रहे हो, when you are at the novice or maybe early stage of your startup, इतना भी कर लेंगे, I think you will be safe and you will be in a good hands. Okay. So you can